Well, hello, everyone. My name is Anne Marie Mabus, and I have the honor of introducing and moderating this panel. I'm with Travel Market Report, and I want to thank the ALG Group very much for having us here again this year, so thank you. I thought we would just start by going around. We'll start with you, Mary Ellen, just introducing yourself.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Ellen Berg. I'm the National Director of Sales for AMR Collection. I manage the sales team in the U.S. And I'm thrilled to be here, and just welcome home. As we say, welcome home. This is your home away from home over the next few days, and if there's anything that I or the team can do for you, just let us know.
So, and I know most of you don't need to be introduced, but it's worth it. Ray?
Ray Snisky. I'm the administrative assistant for Jackie Marks. She's the best boss I've ever had. She gives me a lot of extra work, but it all works out. But I'm the group president of ALGV, and I'm thrilled to have all of you here. Thank you very much for taking very, very important time away from your families to join us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ray's boss, I guess, now. So I got a promotion while I was sitting here. But I am the Executive Vice President of Travel Agent Vacations, Trade Brands, Sales Groups, pretty much anything that touches anything that goes to the travel advisor community. So I have done this for 26 years, and I walked into the Milwaukee office, and I still walk in every day loving what I do, especially because for all 26 years, it's been about the travel advisor community. How can we be a better partner? How can we create new programs, policies, offerings that make you more successful? Because honestly, you guys are the foundation and heart of our business. So without you, we don't exist. So I work very hard every day to hope that we can bring that success to all of you.
Good morning. First of all, thanks so much, Ray, for inviting me. My name is Rodrigo Yaguno. I'm a group president for Amstar, and I have to remember to sit on that before going you guys, because it's always complicated to do an intro after those great intros. So we are so thankful that you're here in destination with us. Hopefully all the transfers that we've been able to cater for you have been going well, and we're excited to to share this space and share some of the things that we're doing to help you and your customers in destination.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anderson Hernandez, and I'm Senior Vice President of Contact Center Operations and Accounting Operations. I joined ALG about 2 years ago, 2 weeks before the pandemic hit, and I'm thrilled to be part of the organization and sitting right here in front of you and supporting you in all that has to do with customer support, care, reservation lines, and all the different journey that you go through our contact center. So thank you for being here.
And just to add on to that, he took over the contact center. He had not been in the industry. He'd been there 2 weeks. And then in another 3 weeks, I gave him all of operations.
Wow. A lot of promotions going on with you, Ray. So I thought it would be a little fun. This morning, I got a text of two of my grandsons. They're both 11 years old. They're cousins, and they played against each other in baseball this morning. The score was 12-0, so I was hoping for a tie. But I thought it reminded me of just teams, and I thought I'd just have an icebreaker asking you, if you were on a sporting team, soccer, football, baseball, whatever, hockey, what position would you play? Mary Ellen, do you want to, I'm just going to start with you.
That's a great question, Anne-Marie. And, my son played football all the way through college, so he'd probably want me to mention his position. But I'd probably say coach because, probably the injuries on the field would be less than the team. But seriously, the coach is really important, and especially as we're currently growing our sales team, it's really important to make sure that our BDM team in the field has the resources that they need to be super successful, win, and work so closely with our partner, ALGV Vacations, and making sure that we're all working together and partnering and doing the things that we need to do to win together.
Thank you. Ray?
Well, I'll bring some truth to this. I actually started as a quarterback, and so quarterback would be the position that I would like to have. I started as a quarterback, and then I grew into a linebacker, and then I grew into a defensive lineman, so I didn't stay a quarterback the whole time. But I like that. I like having the ball in my hands, but more importantly, I like to get everybody involved, and so I'd want everyone to touch the ball. I'd want our wide receivers to be happy. We've got the best team in the industry by far, but making sure that they were all involved and they all scored a touchdown, they all were happy, that kind of thing.
Great, thank you. Jackie?
Well, since Ray said quarterback, I'm going to play off of that and say I would probably pick running back. I am a big football fan, so football is in my blood, and I love the Green Bay Packers. So, but I would say running back because I definitely take the handoff of where we're going and where the company needs to go, and I get it over the finish line. And I move very fast. I talk very fast. So I think running back, and I do like to run, so I guess it fits me personally as well, but have taken many passes from Ray, and hopefully I have delivered them across as touchdowns. So we work really well together.
Rodrigo?
Well, now it's getting really complicated because all of you three guys, and I know Anderson is such a sport buff, so my answer is just going to be totally lame, but I think I will probably play a defensive position, trying to help the team sustain mistakes or when situations could go wrong, help the team while they're all on the offensive. I don't know if you're going to be on the offensive, but while they're in the offensive, try to help the team just be sure that everything that could, whenever things go wrong, just being there trying to support the team.
I love that, and you have to be defensive when you're driving, so I think it's perfect. Anderson?
Anne-Marie, my son plays baseball as well. So he's a 14-year-old, and he's travel baseball. I'm from Dominican Republic, so baseball is my choice in sports. And I would say I'll be probably a catcher. So for those of you who know, baseball catcher is the one that's sitting there. And it's actually has the full view of the field, moving the teams and coordinating where to be in what position to be in. And sometimes we shift depending who the batter is, in this case the competitor, but I think it'll be a catcher of the team.
I think that's terrific, and it really exemplifies the ALG Vacations team because you're each, holding a different position and supporting one another. And as you said, Ray, really working with an amazing team. So I just want to, on behalf of the industry and certainly your advisory board, and I know some of you are new and some of you have been on the advisory board, just thank you for all you do to keep our industry going. So thank you very much.
Too kind. Thank you very, very
much.
No,
seriously, you have really impressed many, and I don't say that lightly. It's been a really tough 2 years, and I think that your company and each of you as individuals and as a team really are shining stars in our industry, so thank you. And with that, I'd like to start with you, Ray. Can you tell us a little bit about why Hyatt acquired you, how it's going, and what's in it for the travel advisor?
Sure. I could tell you that a lot of it was induced by the changes that went on in COVID. So there's, quite frankly, almost an arms race by the big box hotels to get into the all-inclusive. And it's ironic because I was on the Starwood Advisory Board for, maybe 25 years. And we would have these visits and we'd have an all day, they would be sharing things with us and we'd be sharing things with them. And in the last 5 minutes before we broke, they'd say, hey, tell us about this all-inclusive. And I would say, well, it's fantastic and it's really growing and it's something you guys should really think about because it's a lot more than just free food and beverages. It's an empowerment. People like to keep their wallet in the safe. Children love the idea to walk up to an ice cream stand and get their own ice cream. And so I think there's a lot of things. And quite frankly, every year their product gets better. So I think you're sleeping on this one a little bit. And I hope that when you find out about this product, it's not too late. And they said, what do you mean too late? I said, because they're gonna have products and services that are equal to yours. And they, no one would ever say it, but it was a little bit like, oh, he's just in charge of a wholesale company, so of course he's blindly loyal to the all-inclusive. And look what's happened. I mean, this is the hottest part of hotel distribution and hotel experiences, and the quality of the product continues to get better and better. And so I think that's the real drive. Is some of it was defensive, and that they were losing a lot of corporate business, and despite all the positive stories that are out there, the business traveler's not back, and you have to really think about if they ever will be back the same way. Are they really going to send people on 10 trips a year, or maybe it'll be 3 or 4 or so forth? And so seeing that, I think that, I knew that based on our previous ownership, being private equity, I knew that someone was going to purchase at some point because they don't stay in that forever. I didn't expect it to be Hyatt, and so that was a little bit of a surprise. And they have really, in my opinion, kind of scooped the industry and created such a great platform. I have been blown away by their whole team, but especially Mark Hoplamazian. He's as kind and as gracious and respectful as any CEO I've ever met in my career. And when you think about, they acquired us really for our expertise, right? We didn't sell them buildings, we didn't sell them, a whole bunch of, material items. we sold him intellectual capital, brands, and business processes. And he has been so respectful and so inquisitive, just really trying to learn and understand the business. There might have been an occasion if someone else bought us. Sometimes I think it's subconscious. When someone buys someone, they just think that they're smarter than them and they're better than them and so forth. And I think we probably would have gotten some feedback on, you ought to do this differently or that differently, and there's been none of that. It's really just been about how do we combine the organizations, how do we provide leverage, how do we provide a balance of our unique abilities and talents. And so I just spent a week with him in the Dominican Republic last week, and we were doing our quarterly business review, and he was just blown away on all assets of the company and how we're performing and so forth. Another thing that a lot of these hotel companies are being surprised by is how profitable and how much money some of these all-inclusive companies make. This is no longer, trays of beans and cheap booze and squeaking out a little profit, and so it's been fantastic. And for me, I'm really energized by all the corporate infrastructure that may scare some people, but for me, it's, we kicked off diversity and inclusion in a much bigger way last year. They're so mature on that kind of a platform and process, so we're gonna be able to learn. A lot of their HR processes are more sophisticated and further along than ours. I think getting ourselves in front of institutional ownership and other types of things for hotel expansion and development is going to be fantastic. And I think that I think you're going to see the all-inclusive segment continue to expand. And if you look 2.5 years ago, there wasn't one of the AMR collection hotels outside of Mexico and the Caribbean, and now 50% of them are outside. And we now are the third largest hotel company in Spain. I think you'll see us with all-inclusive products at some point in the Middle East and Asia and so forth. So it's really exciting for all of us, and the cultures have really, really melded. And I'll let you in on a little inside joke with Mark. So whenever someone's going down the path of acquiring someone, everything's a love affair. Everyone loves everybody, and everyone can't wait to close the deal, and everybody's brilliant. And then sometimes after it closes, there's some other personalities that peek their head up and so forth. And I told him, I said, Mark, there's in a company that size, there's always one jerk. There's got to be one that's like wants the spotlight on themselves or wants to get the credit, and I just haven't found the jerk. And he says, well, Ray, when you find him, let me know. And so it's just that's kind of a culture it was. So we're thrilled, and it's gone really, really well, and so very excited about it.
Wow, that's great. So it's a wonderful marriage. That's good, because there can be some that are not great. Are there any other things like the expectations that the agents can expect, the advisors can expect?
Yeah, I think the point that I really want to make is, sometimes when we're involved in a lot of change, as an industry, we tend to lean towards what could go wrong instead of what could go right. And, I remember I got questions early on, like, are our commissions going to get cut and those kinds of things. And that's far from the truth. Mark is actually going to speak at our Ascend conference to show his support. He's going to speak at the Travel Allies, event as well. So he doesn't spend all of his time in front of the travel advisor community, but he's made that commitment, and he sees the result. Like I said, we spent a week in the Dominican Republic going through every little detail of vacations, and he was just blown away. And so he has a tremendous amount of respect for the advisor community, and especially with our company continuing to go more towards the luxury side of things. We won't be successful without a fantastic relationship with the travel advisors, and that starts with Mark understanding that as well.
That's excellent. So, and it's really great to hear that the distribution channel is strong with both Hyatt and ALG. Anderson, I'm going to call on you. You weren't here last year. I understand you were with the company, but there was a lot of discussion last year that there was some challenges with the call center, and the advisors were having some challenges with communication. And again, a credit to the executive team because they addressed it last year. So can you share, as specifically as you can, some of the things that you've implemented and how it's helping the advisors do their business better?
So yes, indeed, we had challenges last year to deliver service level, primarily on the first quarter, but we never stopped working, the team. We never stopped investing in transformation, in technology, in training, in tools and processes, always using our approach to problem solving, which is first stabilize, standardize, then optimize, and then transform. I can summarize in three buckets. Number one, we improve our workforce management process, and that is a better forecasting, more sophisticated forecasting process to understand the demand, working alongside with a revenue management team to really understand the traffic expectation of our travel advisors. And that led us to have a much better staffing plan going into this year and improve services to really have the staffing that we need to assist you when you reach out to us. Number two, cross-training and up-training our team members. It's been key to give them more tools and more tools and more skill sets so that they can provide a first call resolution to you, one-stop shop. Right now, our premium reservation lines can do many more things that they could do last year at the same time. They could do air changes, they could do hotel modifications. We didn't have that last year, and that improves the experience that you have when you reach out to our team. And number three, the investment the company has supported with Ray in implementing transformation efforts and leveraging technology, multi-channel, and RPA, robot process automation process. Last year, we diversified our channel mix, implementing chat and email as a form of communication, and really optimized those communication. Last year, our digital adoption to those channels were 17%. This year, we're hitting 35%, right? So that it's an improvement to what we had done versus last year. We also implemented a little bit of the back end, more workflow processes across all of our operations and accounting operations. It's seamless to you, but improves the back end resolution of multiple things. And that sets the stage for then do some automation. And just to share a few things, customer refunds, I know it will resonate to you. Right now, the process is pretty much automated from beginning to end in most of the cases that we get from you. We are doing schedule changes, notifications to you in an automatic way with one of our brands, just to mention a few of the things that we're doing in transformation. And while we execute all those things, we stay true to our corporate values, right? So I'm going to mention just those two. We care, and we care for people, for our agents, for our travel advisors. We listen to your feedback and take that to make actions and execute. And number two, we do it together. So we have an army of team working in trying to help you and support your business, and only to achieve one goal. We want to make your experience reaching out to the contact center much better and much better every single day. The result, Anne-Marie, this year, we have improved our average speed to answer the phones and our chat dramatically versus last quarter of 2021, 60% improvement. Right now, if you reach out to us, it's going to be within 5 minutes of answering your chat and email. Your voice. And email response time is within 6 hours. And our customer refund travel credit process is just being done within a couple of days. That's just to mention a few of the things that we are doing in contact center.
If I could just add on to that, because we all went through a brutal couple of years, and but what Anderson took on wasn't just the issues with the pandemic. It was our company really needed to be transformed even before this happened. We had grown so much. I think we added like $2.5 billion of revenue between acquisitions and mergers from 2013 on. And for most of my career, I've walked down football fields of blue cubes and everyone's typing. And my thought was always, gosh, I hope they're typing the right stuff, because if they hit a 7 instead of a 2, we got problems. And now we're doing some things that we should have been doing 15 years ago, and so new technologies, new robotics, new things to make things more efficient. We had a lot of generation of calls, that some that weren't necessary, and so I always felt, first of all, I felt horrible that I was leading a team that wasn't doing everything perfectly, and we're by no means perfect now, but we've made a significant change, and and what we are is we're really kind of the glue that holds all the pieces together, and when all the pieces are falling apart, it's really hard to be that glue. And so, I'll get questions, and during travel, as both Jackie and Anderson know, is a real big pet peeve of mine, is like when someone really needs you, you have to be there. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to make some transitions. We're not going to have during travel be offshore. We're bringing that back down to onshore and really making sure. But the reality is, when 10,000 flights get canceled with no notice, we're not able to be miracle workers, and so, and that isn't anything I haven't told each president of the major airlines, that you didn't find out on Thursday night at 10:30 that you were canceling 10,000 flights the next morning. Like, there's got to be a little bit better way for us to communicate those scenarios. So we're doing lots of things, doing a lot of things with digital adoption. Anderson's led the team from a 17% digital adoption in the contact center to a 37% digital adoption in December. So last year in January, we were at 17, at 37 now. So more things like that. And then the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a $5 to $7 million investment in VAX to have that be more self-service. That project will kick off next year. It likely will be a 2-year project, which for an instant gratification guy like me feels like forever. But when you're doing really enormous changes like that, it takes a little bit of time. So really just wanted to thank Anderson publicly on what a fantastic job him and his team have done. And everything that we know isn't perfect right now is being worked on diligently by the team. And some of it we all have to just have a little bit of patience that when some of those things go on, there's not a everyone says, well, it's automated. Yeah, it's automated, right? The Marks family was on a nonstop flight on Saturday morning from, at 7 o'clock, and then the computer put them on a Monday night flight with a double connection. Well, yeah, it's done in the computer, but I can assure you that that's not done with the customer, right? And so, having to touch all those folks over and over again. So just know that it's a huge priority for us. How we help you take care of the customer is the number one priority for our organization.
Well, and I think go ahead, Anderson.
I was just going to say thank you. Thank you to Travel Advisors. For those of you who probably know me for the first time, we hear from you, we get your feedback, we evaluate your feedback. If it's individual and focus groups and conversations that we have, even if you meet me on the hall, we take those seriously to really go back to the lab, I would say, evaluate and implement and improve. Most of the key actions that we've done over the last months or last year, I would say, are coming from your feedback. So I appreciate that too.
And I was just going to add to that because what Anderson does, which is unique, I think, for me, who I've done this for 26 years, since he's come on board, he's not afraid to get his hands dirty. And I absolutely love that because some of you have had to escalate calls to me on a weekend, on a night, and have had a problem. And I've always had Anderson have my back when I need to get something done or there's an urgent crisis. Or even if you've given me a call that said, this was a horrendous phone call, I don't know what's going on. And he'll pull the call, listen to it, evaluate what constructive, feedback and actions need to be taken. So I know it feels like the Anderson Love Fest, but we really do all really love Anderson. So
thank you very much.
Anderson, enjoy this honeymoon. I hope you put some good bonus program in your contract.
Yeah.
No, I know this audience is thrilled to have you, and I've heard nothing but the improvements that are being made. So just keep doing what you're doing. I think the We Care is.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Really stands out. So congratulations. Mary Ellen, now we'll talk a little bit about AM Resorts, and I think it's interesting what Ray said, because when there is a situation, it has a domino effect, obviously, on the resort, and then, of course, Amstar. So you have so much going on at AM Resorts. Tell me a little bit about the expansion in the portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited, and as I always say, there's a ton in the pipeline, which certainly my colleagues here are well aware of. But just very recently, we opened Secrets Mokshay, Playa del Carmen. We opened that resort on April 18th, and actually, you'll all have the opportunity to experience the resort tomorrow night, so we're super excited. Next month, we're going into Colombia. We're opening our first resort in Colombia with Dreams Caravana Cartagena. So for those of you that are interested in Colombia or have clients that would love to go to Colombia, we're anxious to talk to you. In July, Cozumel, we are opening Dreams Cape Cozumel, so that'll be a great addition to the portfolio. In August, right next to the Secrets Mokshay, we have Secrets Impression Mokshay, which will be opening, and that'll be an elevated. Impression we're expanding. We're going to be expanding the Impression product. And it'll be an elevated experience to Secrets, which we're excited about. And then last but not least, in December, we have a property in St. Lucia. Again, St. Lucia is a new destination for us. The Marigot Bay property will be branded Zoetree Marigot Bay St. Lucia. And so we're very excited about that. And as I shared, there's a ton in the pipeline and more coming. And again, it's thanks to each and every one of you and your teams for your support. Certainly to the ALGV team, as we continue to grow out the portfolio and offer you and your clients more opportunities and more in the portfolio.
That's so exciting. And did I hear that only 50% of your properties are in Mexico and the Caribbean?
What Ray was alluding to is that we have a portfolio in Europe as well, as he had touched on. So as large as our portfolio is here in Mexico, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Curacao, Costa Rica, we have almost of equal size in Europe as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, very exciting.
So, Jackie, last year was so exciting when you all implemented the Travel Advisor of the Year. And it was such a successful program, and you were the first to come out to really recognize the travel advisors. What's planned for this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. So last year when we did what we called our YOTA campaign, it was Year of the Travel Advisor, we knew that we always value travel advisors, but the world was starting to value them and all of you much more. And so we wanted to make sure we got out there and we did that recognition and that promotion for travel advisors. So what was really interesting, it was a great successful campaign, and we went on many media tours where we would get spokespersons to go on TV and just talk about travel advisors, and that travel was back, and it was so successful, and we were able to celebrate all of you. But what we learned from the campaign was that we were generating a lot of interest in travel, but we weren't connecting the consumer to you because there wasn't an actual call to action where they could call you specifically as our top advisors when we were doing these media campaigns. So this year our campaign is called Ask an Advisor, and it just kicked off, and you're going to see us do a lot of things, and I'm going to tease a couple things that are coming. So the number one thing is that we're going to get back out there and do the same sort of media blitz that we were doing on a front-facing side with the consumer, but we're going to connect that media blitz to a page that's going to be traveladvisorsgetyouthere.com, and it's going to be a site that's solely for our premium top agents to connect with consumers. So you'll be able to interact as an agent on this site where you're going to be able to answer consumer questions that come in as a result of the efforts that we're doing, and hopefully convert these consumers to a sale for yourself. There will be an agent finder where they can go in and put their zip code in and say, I'm located here, how do I find an advisor? And really, we're just going to continue to promote the value of travel advisors, but more importantly, it's about conversion now. So we've gotten the message out, but how do we convert it now to all of you to turn it into actually meaningful business? In addition, with the Ask the Advisor campaign, we're going to come out with more meaningful content. There will actually be a site just for advisors to connect with their BDMs, have social posts and different things that will hopefully continue to bring the value that you do more to light to the consumer and to the world, because all of our research beyond what we know, every survey we see is people are using travel advisors more than ever. And many of you that I have talked to have said you're getting consumers that you've never dealt with before. A lot of it used to be referrals, but people are just finding you, and we want to just keep pushing more and more of that business to you.
It's excellent, and I mean, Ask a Travel Advisor was so needed because I think with the pandemic, as we all know, the large, big brands, whether they were the Costco's of the world or others, you know, they weren't getting people home. And it was the advisor community, congratulations to all of you, that really took care of your customers during the pandemic. And we know you went through a lot with refunding and rebooking and refunding again. So congratulations for starting this. Are there things, Jackie, that they can do in their own agencies on the Ask a Travel Advisor? Will there be some marketing assets for them?
Yeah, there absolutely will be, and there's more to come. We did push the campaign back. We initially had planned to launch it at the beginning of January, and then when Omicron hit, we felt we needed to push it back before we made all the media investment and the dollars to make sure it was going to be successful. So it's just kicked off, and our marketing team who is here will probably be able to engage with you throughout the trip to talk to you more about what's coming and how do they get on the site and what do they need to do and what more material can you to be out there. But ultimately, it's really about, you know, using our assets on your own social channels and continuing to promote it.
Great, thank you.
And be a premium agent with us. So keep being a premium agent, because that's how you get onto the site.
I can just add too, because I want you to feel the confidence of your performance. Right now, the OTA segments are struggling a little bit. You know, these prices are at 25 and 30. I spent the whole night crying because I felt so bad for them. But you know, their business is struggling because we're at 25 and 30% increases in average revenue from 2019, and a lot of times within their booking window, there's not as much inventory, you know, left available. So I'm hearing that across the suppliers. In the last 3 weeks, I've been in the Dominican Republic, Hawaii, and now here in Cancun, and everyone has shared that. And your business is booming. Your business is booming with us. You know, we keep kind of, you know, giggling and looking at each other when we go through, you know, we went through our financials, Rodrigo, and it's not often that vacations is the star of all of ALG and financials, but we are now, and that goes to really all of you, so thank you very much.
And I would imagine, you know, as executives, you also understand there's no higher yielding business normally than travel advisor business. So that's what we all want, profitability. Rodrigo, I didn't forget about you. You are the star of the group,
We're the defense. We're there. So no.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about, I know that advisors use you for transfers, but tell us a little bit about your other services, and are advisors really availing themselves to the opportunities you offer?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks so much for all the service and all the support that you give us. Yes, I think in general, people, when you know, yourselves or your customers think of Amstar as a transfer company, and most probably, you know, that's what, you know, comes with a package or with a certain set of services. And there's also specific services around transfers that normally will not like to talk about them, but we have to do them. Like, for example, when there are hurricane evacuations, when we need to move passengers. And Ray, for example, was talking about cancellations that happened when the way all the services that we provide on destination work in conjunction with, you know, with vacations as well with AMR to support passengers or destinations are much more than just a transfer. But generally, yes, it's still associated with transfers. Now, having said that, within BACS, you can see all the other services that we provide to our customers. When you look at the revenue for Amstar, you know, about 50% of the revenue that we get are also excursions, but that doesn't happen usually with customers before arriving to destinations. We have about 1,300 different excursions throughout all our destinations, and it's becoming much more relevant as you know, your role advising as well as customers looking for experiences in destinations are kind of the trends that we're looking right now. Ray was talking a little bit about the conversations that we had with Mark last week in DR, and one big item that showed up in several of the discussions was how can we bring our customers, whether that's in AMR, ALGV, or in Amstar, experiences and just provide them, you know, the experiences that they're looking for in destination. So a big part of what we do in Amstar is doing that, curate the experiences, put together experiences. Of course, we have, you know, kind of the normal tickets that people would look in the Riviera, you know, where that's Caret or, you know, Grupo Aventuras, but we have a bunch of other very well-curated experiences for your customers and destination. We understand also that it's difficult sometimes to sell the excursions before coming, you know, to the destination, a specific date or a specific, you know, what do the customers want to do when they show up. But I mean, you can look at all the experiences in BACS, and obviously, you know, there's commission tied to that as well. But if there's no specific experience that you want to enjoy, you can also use the vouchers that we have. So we have a pre-travel voucher, and then your customers could use that voucher here on destination in one of our desks. But it's very important for us. We spend a lot of time, my team, not only the destination heads, but all the, let's say, the quality team, as well as all the team that, you know, ensures that the destination, the excursions and experiences that we bring to our customers are up to the level of what ALGV and Apple Leisure Group has. You know, so that's one thing that's also super important. That all the excursions that we sell in Amstar are all the time and constantly evaluated and for all kinds of services as well as risks for your customers. So it's not the same as just going there, you know, on the beach, you know, somebody offering, you know, a water sport activity. If you rely on Amstar, you can rest assured that there's a lot of work behind the scenes in terms of the experiences that we provide.
Well, thank you. And speaking of experiences, you know, AM Resorts, Mary Ellen, I think has done a phenomenal job from a brand's perspective in really segmenting your properties, you know, based on niche markets. Can you just, I know that this audience probably knows most of them, but can you just touch a little bit upon, you know, your different brands and the segments they represent?
So in terms of the brands, so the niche markets, of course, are very, very important to us. And, you know, I'm sure everyone's very familiar with the wedding and honeymoon space. And, you know, in addition to that, there's your meeting and incentive space. There's the multi-gen. What's the beauty of AMR Collection is that across our brands, right, the Zoetry, Secrets, Breathless Dreams, Sunscape, the brands really accommodate all different size, styles, budgets. So from a meeting and incentive perspective, from the venues, the breadth of the venues that we offer, the type of venues, the activities, there's a huge array. If you look at, and just to touch on the meeting incentive space, so similar to the travel advisors, when you're booking your wedding with ALGV, you then have the opportunity to work with our experienced wedding teams and destination in resort. With meetings incentives, it's very similar. You would work and book your meeting incentive, your MICE business with ALGV, and then you or your travel advisors would have the opportunity to work with our trained meeting specialist in destination. With the multi-gen, again, as I touched on the brands, the beauty also of AMR Collection is that each of our hotels is unique and different. And what that means is that there truly is something for every type of group or every type of client. So what's really important for us is that we have you in destination with us and your teams in destination, your travel advisors in destination with us, so they really can learn and experience the different hotels to match the right client to the right resort. So when we look at multi-gen, and that's especially through the time that we've come through, the multi-gen is very popular, right? You have families reconnecting, you have the parents, the grandparents, the children, the grandchildren. And so with our different resorts and through the brands, there's so many activities. You look at a Dreams Vista that has the surf simulator. You take the Dreams Natura that has a breadth of activities, including mini golf, cooking classes, Spanish lessons. So there truly is something for everyone and for, like I said, groups and different families and clients.
And do you have, just as a follow-up, do you have educational programs that can assist, maybe not these agents, but their independent contractors, in understanding, for example, that Zoetry is for wellness? And by the way, you were ahead of everybody on the whole wellness before most brands. But are there educational programs or systems that they can follow?
There are, Anne-Marie, and that's a great question. AMRagents.com is our resource center for all of our travel advisors. It's very robust, and there's a ton of resources. One of those is our Master Agent Education Program. The Master Agent Education Program provides education on all of our brands, the hotels, but there are modules for weddings and honeymoons, spa and wellness, and the meeting incentive business. In addition, and very important, is that there's product guides located on amragents.com, and within our product guides, and the product guides are great because they provide the most up-to-date information on every single one of our resorts. Myself, my team, this is where we go to stay up to date on all of our resorts. Within the product guides, there is a USP section, which will provide you the unique selling features to really assist your travel advisors with, again, matching the right client to the property.
Thank you, Ray.
Just something to add, and not for this audience, because they're the best of the best. But for your subscribers, and I'll say this every time I'm in front of travel advisors, connect yourself with the emotional parts of the vacation. Don't have it be a transaction where you've just sold the hotel and you've sold the air and so forth. I've used this joke many times before, but no one gets off the plane and says, oh, my vacation was fantastic. The Diet Coke was chilled to perfection. It was such a wonderful flight. It's really about the experiences in the destination. And there's so many new tools now, and they're growing each and every day with companies like the AMR Collection, where you can really engage your customers for really memorable experiences. If I stop being the president of ALGV, I'm going to be the chief marketing officer for Le Petit Chef. So if you don't know about it, find out about it, because it blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. I know Sarah has experienced it recently. It's an animation of a chef, and they actually prepare the dish, and with a lot of humor and fun. And it's not just for children. We have Le Grand Chef that's coming out too at Secrets as well. But it's like that. It's taken a dinner and it's just made it into an entertaining experience. And with a lot of the grillings, the grilling restaurants on the beaches and all these kinds of different things that are out there, get yourself connected with that, right? I've been into a lot of homes in my life. I've never seen a receipt in a frame hanging in the living room about the money they saved on their vacation. It's always about those memories. So it's just important for your subscribers to always have that be in their forefront when they're booking a customer on a vacation.
It's a great point. Mary Ellen?
Yeah, and Ray, just to add on that, that's really great, is the add-on packages. So please, for your teams, we have this tremendous add-on packages. And again, it's to help you all be that, I like to say, the rock star, because you've done all the thinking for your clients. So when they arrive into destination, they're at the resort, they can truly unpack and enjoy their vacation. The add-on packages, there's different packages to choose from. They're bookable on VAX, and they're commissionable as well, which is great.
Jackie?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, I think to what everybody is saying is the customer wants more than they used to want from their vacation. And, you know, we talked about this in our elite trip this week about how the average price of our vacation from 2019 to today is up over $400 more a person. And that's not just inflation. That's not just hotels raising their rates. Is that part of it? Yes, there is a higher cost of hotels and airlines. But a lot of the reason why our prices are up is people are buying ocean view rooms. They're adding on the gift cards, as Rodrigo said, because they know they're going to do something in destination. So when we break down, they're upgrading their transfer. They're realizing after COVID they want more than they wanted before COVID. So, you know, you have to figure out that it's okay to ask, you know, or recommend things that maybe you wouldn't have before COVID because they are paying it, and we are seeing it in our average net sale.
And, you know, with that, Rodrigo, you know, how can Amstar be a better partner to the travel advisors? Mary Ellen brought up groups and incentives, and I know you do a lot of business there. Yep. And you have all been, you know, on the leisure side. And who would have ever thought that, you know, corporate business would go down and leisure would rise? Mary Ellen and I were talking about this earlier. So there's a huge opportunity, I would think, for the advisor community on meetings and incentives and larger groups. So do you just want to touch on that?
Yeah, I think in general, there are a lot of things that we're doing both on the leisure and the meeting and incentives, but the last few years, a little bit like Anderson, we had several challenges on destinations, you know, especially as business. I mean, I think it was good for everybody that business was coming back, but at the same time, there were a lot of constraints as business was coming back. So infrastructure at the airport, you know, kind of especially at the Cancun airport in certain terminals, our infrastructure in terms of vehicles, the companies that we work in terms of vehicles, were both challenging on both ends. So wow. One of the first things, and this is really working together with Jackie and Ray, is just being very close and understanding where we are not delivering the product at what level and where do we need to invest. So over the last year, on an organizational basis, we've done some changes to the way our team is organized in Amstar and how we can create specific functions, just like Anderson was saying, around quality and continuous improvement. Working with the challenges that we have at the airport. One of the things that you said that it's very interesting is that with all the shift in corporate travel to leisure travel, the time frames of people arriving at the airports have changed dramatically. So now we have like bottlenecks happening, especially at the Cancun airport, that didn't have before. I mean, there were, but not at the level that we have right now. So we have to put a lot of processes in place. We've also invested in vehicles. We bought over 150 vehicles in Cancun mainly, and in Jamaica as well. So hopefully, I mean, some of, especially deluxe and private vehicles. So hopefully you got to experience some of those new vehicles. There's one parked outside there. So there's a great Cadillac van out there, which is brand new. It was not necessarily part of the event, but it's out there. Yes, we've done a lot of investments on that end. We're also trying to work hand in hand with the marketing collaterals that we can provide for all the travel advisors, where you can use some of our tour sheets and then customize it with your logos for specific material. Again, you know, working on the leisure or, you know, on the meeting and event side with material as well. And really, you know, working together to deliver experiences and promotions and the product that serves you and your customers. So we're really about, you know, I think the great thing about Amstar is that we are big enough to be playing kind of in the big leagues, but at the same time, we are a small and compact team that really works hand in hand with the vacations team, just to be sure that we deliver the best that we can deliver for travel advisors.
Well,
so, just to reinforce that, because Rodrigo's very humble, but that's one of the differentiators between a company like ourselves and others is 150 vehicles were just purchased because we were running into supply chain issues with people that we had outsourced some of the things, or we had used some other vendors who had leased some vehicles. So that's the difference in our company, is the ability to make that kind of investment on the heels of a pandemic, where there's probably just a very small number of companies that were able to do that.
That's a really great point. You know, and speaking about the infrastructure, you know, Ray, I'd like to ask you, you know, we all know that there's problems with, you know, finding the right people. and retaining talent. You know, what are you doing to keep such a great team together and to find people like Anderson? You know, because we're all in that. I know the people in this room are having, you know, similar situations, looking for more advisors to be part of their teams. Do you have any advice, and can you tell us what you're doing at ALG?
Yeah, that's a great question. And regardless of what we're going to talk about, my number one priority is always our team. Because if we don't have that right, we can't do all the other stuff right. And so the number one thing is you can't grow your team unless you hold on to what you have. And so a lot of effort is in taking care of our team, making sure that, you know, I'm not the one that makes all the decisions, to make sure they have an environment where they can flourish, where they can make decisions, where they can engage, and so forth. So a lot of them have autonomy as it refers to the senior leadership. And, you know, if there's probably one part of the pain I felt in the 2 years was, were we doing everything we could for our team members? And were we taking care of them? Were we doing the right things? You know, sometimes coaching and development gets strained when, you know, you're going through the types of things we've been going through. And so it's been fantastic. They really have driven the company. And so, you know, to me, we got through that time period. Everyone got a fantastic bonus in December. We just went through our merit and promotions review and got back on track with promoting people and increases and those kinds of things. And really, we stayed really close. And so all of us are hands-on folks, right? I'm not sitting in some ivory tower where I don't know what's going on, and every team member can engage with us all the time. You know, we have programs where all of us meet with other people that are not our direct reports. So I meet with people every couple of weeks that aren't my direct reports, just to keep my understanding of what's happening in the company, how they're feeling, and so on and so forth. And then I think there's the other programs that we're doing with our HR team, and this is where the Hyatt relationship is really going to be an accelerator. I told you I was really excited. I was one of the people that pushed, and I'm the executive sponsor for our race and ethnicity circle, part of our D&I. And, you know, and the challenge is we just have to do a better job. You know, there's not a lot of diversity getting into the business, and that means we've got to go out there. So it isn't a case like we look at a bunch of people that were candidates, because there's not very much diversity through the years. And so we're doing things now to get engaged in how we're doing our recruiting processes and getting engaged in more diverse places to even let people know that there's a career in travel that's an option, you know, for some folks like that. So really excited about that. We're making some really great strides there. And I think that part of inclusion makes people feel terrific. And so we have, you know, different circles. We have circles that are based on disabilities, and are we doing everything to make sure that those folks feel included? I talked about the race and ethnicity. We have LGBTQ, you know, circle as well, and then we have a women's circle. And so I'm really proud that in vacations, 71% of all the managers and above are women, and so it is. And you know, if you look at how our company has grown, it's been really driven, you know, in a large part by the women in our organization. So we want to continue. We need to do a better job of having that percentage continue to grow in the most senior levels, you know, of the company and so forth. So, and I think it starts with our core value of we care. You know, I may have my weaknesses as a leader here and there, but I'd be hard pressed for anyone to tell me that they felt that I didn't care. And so to me, it's something that I lead with. And you know, if someone says what keeps you up at night, I never think about our competition, ever. I'm never chasing somebody or worrying if they're doing a better job. I know if I really give all my energy to our team and what we're doing, all the other stuff will work out, and it's working out.
Wow, that is really well said. And I love what you said about, you know, in order to grow, you have to keep the people that you have. I think that's well said and great advice for all of us. And I think it's great advice for the independent contractors. You know, so speaking of females, I hope you don't mind because we are closing down. I'm going to let's end with Jackie, a female leader in our industry and certainly with ALG. Do you want to just talk a little bit about what would you like to say to the advisor community? You know, not just about their roles, but about your products and systems and services and how they interact.
Yeah, you know, I have a saying that I use with my team a lot that, you know, our job is to create what I call as goodness overload. where we are doing so many things that bring you the ability to close your business, to be more successful, that you actually can't keep up or remember them all. And I think, we want to always have something and some tool available that's going to make you more successful. So my job is first to listen. And so some of you in our audience today are former advisory board members. Some of you are new advisory board members. So it starts with us listening to understand what they need from us. What do you all need from us? And then it's making it happen. I had an advisor that was on a trip that we were just on over the last couple of days, came up to me and said, I've never in my career had asked for something to be resolved, and it was something we needed to change about our system and have it within 1 week be done. Now, I wish I could tell you every single time that we could do something like that in a week, but we will always try, and we will always listen, and we will create a prioritization of how we get this stuff accomplished. So the things that I'd like you to really pay attention to that help you differentiate your business with us is the things that make you more money, first of all, because nobody deserves to be making more money right now than you. And we have great programs like our Get Paid to Upgrade. If you're not upselling a room category for that 2% commission, you're really, really missing out. Pay attention to the exclusive perks that we've put out there, because you have a differentiation against the OTAs. You have something they don't. When you sell your customer one of our exclusive perk hotels, you can give them a free beach bed, you can give them free transfers, a tour, and you can say that that is from you. And that is not available with the Hotel Direct, and it's not available with the OTAs. So these are the things that we keep trying to be innovative and creative in ways that are going to make you successful. I could go on and on. I wish I had all the time in the world to kind of reinforce all the different things that we're doing, but it starts with you and it ends with you. So when you have ideas, this room full of my team that's here with me is always going to listen, and you're going to see us, react and respond to the needs of the advisor community. So a lot of great things, and if we can continue the goodness overload, that will be my mission till the day I'm not here anymore.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, listening and caring is obviously the theme of your organization. So on behalf of your advisory retreat, thank you so much. And I know that you're going to be spending one-on-one time with the audience. So I just want to thank you for having me and for allowing us to hear all that is going on at your great company. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay. Unless anybody has something else to say.
I think we're right on time. So thank you for a great panel and keeping us on track. And our next is we're going to have lunch. So I think everyone can take a break while lunch is being served. And then Ray and I are going to come back up after lunch, and we're going to allow a more open Q&A to Ray and I or any of our team members that are here.